Imagine, if you will, a time when locomotives were the lifeblood of America, connecting cities, shaping nations. This isn't merely about transportation, it's the essence of the American spirit, embodied in the rhythmic chugging of a steam engine or the seamless glide of a bullet train. In the beginning, the U.S. was a vast, untamed wilderness. It was the train companies, the bold pioneers of industry, that tamed this wilderness, laying down extensive tracks that connected every corner of this nation. These train companies were more than businesses. They were the architects of progress. They were the heartbeat of the economy, the arteries that delivered goods, services, and people across the nation. From the Rio Grande to the Great Northern, these companies epitomized the relentless drive towards progress and prosperity. Now let's delve into the timeline of these companies. Our journey commences in the mid-19th century, the dawn of the American West. This was the era of the Baltimore and Ohio, the first major railroad in the U.S. Then came others like the Union Pacific and the Santa Fe, each etching their unique mark on history. We then witnessed the rise and fall of giants like Conrail and Burlington Northern, leaving their imprint only to be absorbed or rebranded in adapting times. Yet, through these changes, the spirit of innovation and resilience remained steadfast. Our journey doesn't end with the past, though. It continues into the present day, where we see the legacy of these pioneer companies in modern entities like Amtrak. These companies bear witness to the indomitable spirit of the American people, a spirit that continues to push boundaries and redefine possibilities. As we embark on this journey, let's start from the oldest train company and work our way to the present day. The birth of American railroads traces back to the Baltimore and Ohio, which laid its first track in 1830. This pioneer in the industry paved the way for railways in the U.S., instrumental in expanding trade and travel westward. Its operations spanned an impressive 160 years, cutting a path of iron and steam through 13 states, setting a pattern for future railways. Despite financial turbulence, Baltimore and Ohio weathered the storm until it merged with the Chessie system. The name may be lost in time, but the legacy of Baltimore and Ohio endures. Echoed in every train's whistle across the U.S. from Baltimore and Ohio, we transition to another trailblazer, the Southern Pacific. Established in 1865, the Southern Pacific was a titan of the railroad industry for over a century. Born in the aftermath of the Civil War, it swiftly gained prominence, crafting a vast network across the American West. For over a century, its locomotives thundered through the landscape, influencing communities they encountered. Despite its constant name, Southern Pacific embraced change. It thrived on it. Initially focused on passenger service, the company shifted to freight transport as national needs evolved. Southern Pacific was also known for acquisitions, absorbing small railroads to expand and strengthen its power. In 1996, the tables turned. The Union Pacific Railroad, a major rival, acquired Southern Pacific, ending an era. As the Southern Pacific era came to a close, other companies like the Great Northern were on the rise. The Great Northern Railway, founded in 1889, was a northernmost transcontinental route in America. Conceived by James J. Hill, it thrived for almost 8 decades before merging into Burlington Northern Railroad in 1970. Hill's visionary enterprise was a testament to his audacious spirit, earning him the moniker, the Empire Builder. By charting the northernmost course, he redefined the American railway network and forever imprinted the Great Northern Railway in the annals of history. Our journey continues westward, to the tracks of another iconic venture, the Union Pacific Railroad. Established in 1862 as part of the original Transcontinental Railroad Initiative, the Union Pacific Railroad remained at the forefront of railway innovation, forging an enduring legacy. Its continued operation speaks volumes about its adaptability and resilience in the face of changing times. As we delve deeper into the heartland, we encounter the Rock Island Line. Known initially as the Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific Railroad, it was established in 1847, serving the populace for more than a century. Despite its unfortunate closure in the 80s due to financial hardships, the Rock Island Line's charm remains undiminished. Our tour then takes us through the breathtaking routes of the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad, commonly known as the Rio Grande. Established in 1870, the Rio Grande was renowned for its picturesque mountain routes and contributed to the country's railway narrative with its unique scenic charm. It thrived until the late 80s, when it was incorporated into the Southern Pacific Transportation Company. Each of these railroad companies enriched the American railway tapestry in their unique ways. The Great Northern's audacious northernmost route, Union Pacific's enduring legacy, Rock Island's unique charm, and Rio Grande's scenic splendor have left an indelible mark. They faced numerous challenges, from financial hardships to mergers, but their legacies continue to inspire. Their railway routes remain etched in America's landscape. Their stories reverberate in the clatter of train wheels. In the midst of these companies' contributions, a new player emerged on the scene, significantly impacting the American railway narrative: Amtrak. In 1971, Amtrak, a government-owned corporation, took over most U.S. passenger rail service. This shift came as part of a larger need to save the faltering passenger rail industry, with Amtrak emerging as the government's solution. However, it wasn't the only entity that played a significant role in the evolution of modern railroads. For instance, Conrail, officially the Consolidated Rail Corporation, surfaced in the 70s. This government-supported organization aimed to rescue bankrupt rail companies in the Northeast. After more than 20 years of operation, it was divided in 1999 between CSX Corporation and Norfolk Southern Corp. Around the same time, the Burlington Northern Railroad was carving its path in the industry. Established in 1970 through the merger of several railways, Burlington Northern ran successfully for 25 years. In 1995, it combined with the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway, thereby creating today's Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway. Speaking of Santa Fe, this railway has roots in the 19th century. Despite its long history and critical role in the Southwest's development, it too felt the pressures of the modern era. Its merger with Burlington Northern ensured its legacy lived on. As we traverse this historical track, the American rail industry's evolution is evident. Companies have emerged, disappeared, and the industry's face has been redrawn repeatedly. Yet the spirit of innovation and persistence endures. From the steam engines of Baltimore and Ohio to Amtrak's high-speed trains, the American rail industry has traveled far. This journey of transformation and grit serves as a testament to the industry's resilience. As we look to the future, we can only imagine what new chapters will be added to this fascinating journey. The evolution of American train companies is a testament to the country's spirit of innovation and progress. From the inception of railways like the Rio Grande to the contemporary Amtrak, they've molded America both tangibly and symbolically. Every company boasts a unique narrative intricately tied to the nation's past. Name changes like Burlington Northern's transformation into Santa Fe echoed across the landscape. The cessation of operations by companies like Conrail and Rock Island left lasting impressions. These rail entities, the backbone of America, interconnected cities, ignited economic expansion and nurtured unity over immense distances. They've encountered and overcome challenges, reflecting the resilience of the country. The tale of America's train companies is ever evolving, mirroring the nation's progression. As we pull into the station on this journey, remember the story of America's train companies is still being written. Stay tuned for the next chapters in this thrilling saga of steel and steam. Riding the rails back in time, we find ourselves in the early 1800s, the dawn of the American railway system. This was a time of great innovation and exploration, when the clatter of wheels on iron tracks began to echo across the vast expanse of the United States. Our journey begins in the city of Baltimore, Maryland, where the seeds of the American railway system were first sown. In the year 1827, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad was born, marking the dawn of a new era in transportation. This was no small feat. It was the result of tireless work by a host of engineers, investors, and laborers, all united in their vision of a connected America. The railways played a pivotal role in the industrialization of the United States. They hauled coal, timber, and other raw materials from the heartlands to the factories lining the eastern seaboard. They were the arteries of a growing nation, pumping life into the very fabric of American society. Then came the Civil War, a tumultuous period that further highlighted the strategic importance of the railways. They moved troops and supplies, becoming an integral part of the war effort, and later, the Reconstruction that followed. The late 19th and early 20th century witnessed what many consider the golden age of rail travel. Luxury trains like the Orient Express and the 20th Century Limited were symbols of elegance and sophistication, transporting passengers across vast rail networks that crisscrossed the country, from bustling cities to the untamed wilderness of the West. However, the mid-20th century brought about significant changes. The advent of automobiles and airplanes presented new competition for the railways. Passenger numbers dwindled, and the once flourishing railway industry began to falter. Many companies struggled to stay afloat, and the grand era of railway travel seemed to be drawing to a close. But as the 20th century progressed, the railway star began to fade, setting the stage for a new player: Amtrak. Enter Amtrak, born out of a crisis in the early 1970s. The once glorious era of American passenger trains was on the brink of extinction, a victim of the relentless competition from cars and airlines. The number of passengers on trains was plummeting, and railway companies were bleeding red ink. Something had to be done to save this vital piece of American transportation history. The American government stepped in with a vision to revive passenger train service. The man at the helm was none other than Richard Nixon, the President of the United States at the time. He, alongside his Transportation Secretary John Volpe, proposed a bold solution. They envisioned a new national rail system that would consolidate the struggling rail services under one umbrella. This was not an easy task, nor was it without controversy. It required the cooperation of various rail companies, many of which were hesitant to cede control. But Nixon and Volpe were determined. They believed that a unified system could bring efficiency and stability, and ultimately, save passenger train service from oblivion. After much negotiation and planning, their vision became a reality. The Consolidated Rail Corporation, better known as Conrail, was formed in April 1971. But it was the following month, May, that saw the birth of the National Railroad Passenger Corporation, or as we know it today, Amtrak. Amtrak was tasked with the enormous responsibility of providing intercity passenger train service across the continental United States. It was a bold experiment, a gamble even, but it was a necessary one. The government believed that Amtrak could breathe new life into the ailing passenger train industry, and they were willing to bet on its success. And so, on May 1, 1971, Amtrak's first trains rolled out, marking a new chapter in American railway history. It was a moment of hope and anticipation, a moment that signaled the birth of a new era for passenger trains. And as we'll see in the next scene, it was just the beginning of Amtrak's journey. In its early years, Amtrak had to find its tracks, so to speak. The company started operations in May 1971, but it wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Amtrak inherited a fleet of aging trains and a crumbling infrastructure from the various railroads that had handed over their passenger services. It was like being handed the keys to a classic car with a beautiful exterior but a rusty engine and worn-out tires. But Amtrak didn't let these challenges derail its mission. Instead, it embarked on a journey of transformation and expansion. Throughout the 1970s, Amtrak began to introduce new types of trains and expand its services. It was during this decade that we saw the launch of the San Francisco Zephyr, the Floridian, and the Auto Train, just to name a few. The expansion didn't stop there. In the 1980s, Amtrak continued to reach out to more American cities. It was a time of growth and innovation for the company. The introduction of the high-speed Acela Express in the Northeast Corridor and the extended services to cities like Los Angeles, Seattle, and Miami showcased Amtrak's commitment to connecting America. This period also saw Amtrak breathe new life into its fleet. The company introduced the Superliner cars, double-decker trains that offered more seating capacity and better views for passengers. These new trains, coupled with the refurbished stations and improved tracks, symbolized the rebirth of the American passenger rail system. But it wasn't all about expansion and new trains. Amtrak also had to navigate the turbulent waters of financial difficulties and changing government policies. It had to prove to its critics that it was not just a nostalgic relic of the past, but a viable and necessary part of America's transportation future. Despite the obstacles, Amtrak kept chugging along, becoming a vital part of America's transportation system. Fast forward to today, and Amtrak stands as a testament to the enduring appeal of rail travel. As it stands, Amtrak operates more than 300 trains daily, connecting over 500 destinations in 46 states, the District of Columbia, and 3 Canadian provinces. From the coastal routes of the Pacific Surfliner to the mountain vistas of the Empire Builder, Amtrak's network offers a diversity of journeys that is unmatched. As for the trains themselves, Amtrak boasts a variety of options to cater to every traveler, from the high-speed Acela Express to the double-decker Superliner. Recent years have seen the introduction of new trains with improved features, including more comfortable seating, better accessibility, and enhanced Wi-Fi connectivity. Moreover, Amtrak is not resting on its laurels. Over the past few years, the company has made significant strides in modernizing its services and amenities. We've seen the introduction of contemporary menu options in dining cars, the implementation of a new user-friendly website and mobile app, and the rollout of an upgraded rewards program. Looking ahead, the future of Amtrak is brimming with promise. The company has ambitious plans for expansion, with new routes and stations in the pipeline. One of the most exciting prospects is the proposed Gateway program, which aims to improve passenger rail capacity between Newark, New Jersey, and New York City. This project, if realized, would be a significant step towards better serving the Northeast Corridor, one of the busiest rail lines in the country. In terms of modernization, Amtrak is also exploring the potential of cleaner, more efficient technologies. This includes the possibility of introducing hybrid or fully electric trains in the future, in line with global trends towards more sustainable transportation. As we look down the tracks, the future of Amtrak seems bright, continuing its journey in the American story. From the early days of American railways to the birth and growth of Amtrak, we've traveled a long way. We began our journey with the dawn of the American railways, a time of innovation and growth that set the stage for the birth of Amtrak. We learned about the tireless efforts of key figures who were instrumental in its creation, a testament to the spirit of ingenuity and determination that marked this era. We then chugged along to Amtrak's early years, witnessing its initial struggles and subsequent expansion. We saw Amtrak service extend to new places and reach more people, reflecting its commitment to providing an accessible and reliable mode of transportation for the nation. Fast forwarding to the present, we explored Amtrak as it stands today and its plans for the future. We delved into the improvements made over the years and the vision that continues to drive its growth. Despite the challenges and changes, Amtrak remains a vital and dynamic part of America's transportation infrastructure. As we pull into the station, remember that every time you board an Amtrak train, you're not just traveling from one place to another, you're riding a piece of American history.